Corporation for Deposit Insurance is celebrating its one-year anniversary. CODI is a key milestone in protecting depositors and strengthening SA's financial system. If a bank fails, CODI will use the established Deposit Insurance Fund to give qualifying depositors access to up to 100,000 Rand of their covered deposits. We're now joined by Mampho Modise, Deputy Governor at the South African Reserve Bank. Good afternoon and thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to your listeners. Thank you for having me.
Well, I suppose when there's an anniversary, we've got to take a look at the year before and see what's worked and what hasn't worked. So how has the past year been, and have you learned any lessons in the performance of CODI?
We are so excited that we launched CODI. It has worked well. We managed to have the Deposit Insurance Fund set up. We are now in the process of verifying the depositors' details so that in case of or an unfortunate event, a bank fails, we can contact the depositors and we can give them information as we update the processes. We have achieved quite a lot, but I think what has been key is the communication and trying to reach everyone, even in rural areas, so that they understand the benefits of CODI and what it has covered. The learnings that we need to consider and going forward is just to make sure we verify the details of the depositors, and I just want to urge the depositors to please go to their banks and update their details so that in case we need to contact them, it is easy for us to contact them.
Are there any plans to adjust the model based on what's transpired over the last year?
So far, we're quite happy with what we have in the bank. We have about 19 billion in the fund, and we have made sure that the premiums and the levies are such minimal to avoid depositors paying more on levies. So for now, we're looking at about 0.015% as levies for the banks, which transferred to depositors will be very minimal. And we are charging a premium of about 0.2% of covered depositors, and we plan to build CODI over time, and it's not an aggressive insurance. So with those in mind, we think that we are on the right track.
Now, how does CODI compare to similar deposit insurance schemes within the other G20 countries that implemented them earlier than South Africa?
Of course, they would be far, their funds would be bigger, but we think that the biggest learning we had is that it's it's insurance, build gradually so that, and educate so that at least depositors are aware, but you're also building this fund over time so you don't choke and affect the financial sector.
And lastly, what enhancements or expansions do you have in place or planned at least for the coming year for CODI?
For the coming year, I think what is critical is to make sure we have all our depositors in place. Secondly, we need to educate depositors that they need to understand if their banks are covered by CODI, because CODI only covers registered banks. So depositors need to make sure their banks are covered. And lastly, we want to have a system where the payout is less than 7 working days so that depositors are not stranded without money. So what we're working on for the next year is to reduce the number of days that depositors can access their money. If we get to 7, it would be an achievement that we aim to get to.
Thank you so much for your time. That's the Deputy Governor from the South African Reserve Bank, Mampho Modise, chatting to us on CODI.